tape 14 in September 29th, 1992. We've just left Fourchu Harbor and we're flying around 420 feet. And we're heading for Belfry Beach in Fourchu Bay. As you can see, we're pretty well near low tide. It's at 1740 and it's the time right now is 17:15. This low-lying shore consists of mainly bedrock outcrops in the lower shore face or intertidal, and a gravel upper intertidal with some dune grass and more sand in the back shore. Complex arrangement of islands, drumlins, with intervening fringing barriers. Much of them have been overwashed substantially by the look of things. Mainly a sandy foreshore with some granular material. The old tidal outlet that used to be here has now been closed off. You can see the old flood tidal deposits in the back shore, and even the next one over has been closed off. You can see the flood tidal deposits there spanning out it. The outlet now is well over to the east side of this gravel shoal, over towards our number 4 profile. That whole beach area has been pretty well wiped out. Again, into Belfry Beach proper, you see extensive wave overwash. This has been heavily mined in the 70s and 80s, and it's mainly a sandy foreshore, but it does have a lot of granular material, pebble material in it. Much of the woodlot that used to be along this beach has now disappeared. And we've been keeping in mind, there's a truck down there for scale and a big sign saying caution cable, and we're just coming up with Belfry Gut, which is still open to the sea. However, there's a lot of accumulation of sand in there. And once you go by the gut, just as we're doing now, you turn to a more natural beach that hasn't been mined. Has more sand in the lower foreshore and granular material in the upper foreshore, and well-developed dune grass in the back shore. And this beach goes along and connects to several drumlin outcrops. Well-defined beach with a sandy lower foreshore. The shore face is also sandy. There's a good view of an eroded drumlin and in the back of this beach. This is a spectacular beach along here. This is a site of where Ying Wang and Dave Piper did some work on drumlin erosion, and we've maintained some sites along this drumlin. We're just going to take a swing into land and look back along the Belfry Beach complex. Good view of the drumlins and how they... No, that's fine. You can pull back. Look that way. Head out that way. Yeah. There we just get a good view of Winging Point and the long spit that extends from Winging Point to Rock Outcrop. And the island Fourchu Rock offshore, the lighthouse. That was great. outcrops extending offshore all along Little Harbour Lake area, and you can see the outlet from it. Still very minor, but indeed it does go into some subtidal marsh. It's maybe sandy and behind the rock, but on the outer shore you get more gravel beach, and towards Swinging Point you get into another spectacular beach complex with dune grass, some trees in the back shore, so very wide intertidal, sandy intertidal beach. I would guess that the beach is about 30 meters wide. There's some granular material towards the top of the foreshore slope, the lighter material. It's primarily sand. See the waves breaking today on the plunging on the lower part of the beach. We didn't go with the Guyan Island, but it's mainly a rock crop. Passing Wingy Point at 1720. See the extensive rock outcrop that keeps this in place on the shoal. You notice how it changes so dramatically from a well-vegetated backshore on the west-facing side to a well-overwashed, very little vegetation on the east side of the beach. As we head towards Cape Gabarus, we get into intervening wide sand and granular beaches with wide overwashed deposits. There's a tremendous one back into that. It's getting quite dusky right now, unfortunately. Hopefully we'll be able to make out most of it. But there's some very large washover deposits going into these ponds and behind the beach. Sugarloaf area, Sugarloaf Lakes. As we turn the corner Cape Gabarus, we get into much coarser material along shore. You've got the pebbles and a more of a cobble frame down at the base of the beach. You can see the washover channels and fans that have developed over the last year or two, probably due to the Halloween or February storm of last year. And we have on board today Dave Frobel doing the photography, Bob Taylor's doing the commentary, and Don Monroe is the helicopter pilot. I'm just looking into Gabarus Bay. More see the rock outcrop is exposed at low tide, and the upper intertidal is a mixture of sediment. Very high glacial deposits along this part of the shore. They're just about 30 meters in height. Slumping and gullying, they're eroding, but not as quickly as some of the more outer shore deposits. Cove, heading towards Harris Lake. This material here, as you can see, is more of a rock outcrop with some eroded glacial deposits in the back shore, about 1 to 3 meters in height. The beaches here are substantially more coarse than some of the ones we saw over in the Belfry Beach area. Very cobbly and bouldery. Offshore appears to be very shallow as well. Mostly kelp-covered rock. Up on Harris Lake. Several small pocket gravel beaches in amongst the rock outcrop just before you get to Harris Lake, where there's a substantial gravel beach barrier, which is fairly narrow at the south end, becoming wider towards the north end. You can see the well-developed cuts forming through the waves today. There's several profile locations here as well that were taken in the 1980s. There used to be some Drumlin cliff erosion stakes at this cliff, and the average rate of recession is about 0.2 meters per year. It wasn't high. Coming around to the village of Gabarus, you can just see in the background rock outcrops until you get to the beach, and then the whole village is fronted by a really substantial sand and gravel beach, which has been substantially overwashed during the February storm. You see that there's a wooden break wall at the back of the beach. It tends to accumulate with sediment at the eastern end of the beach, and when waves come along, they tend to overtop it at that end, especially during the storm surge that occurred in 1983. As we come around the corner of Grouse Point, we see a fishing vessel just coming into port. I don't know if we'll pick it up on our video, but there's the entrance. You see the buoys marking off the channel entrance to Gabarus Harbor for scale. Gabarus Village. This position here is an old concrete wharf, wooden cribwork down below it. As we come around the corner, you're picking up another gravel fringy beach. Erosional glacial deposits. The beach itself is probably only about 20 to 30 meters wide at most. There's an old outlet with the flood tile deposits in the Lake barrier is one of the largest again, and again you can see some fairly wide overwash fans. It's mainly sand, but there's a lot of gravel on the back shore. You can see intermittent vegetation, quite substantial overwash fans. Again, probably due to the storms last fall. At the north end of the beach, there's an erosional cliff supplying sediment to the beach. It's roughly about 10 meters high, and there's some lovely formed beach cusps in the foreground. This is attached to a low-lying gravel barrier with a outlet through it. And then from here, from Sand Cove all the way up to Morrison's Cove, there's a series of pocket beaches composed of granule to pebble material, some sand, and rock outcrops at the headlands and just offshore, as you see here. Some of the beaches, the fringy beaches, are more of a mixed material all the way up to cobble boulder size. And then as you approach this next erosional cliff, you can see there's some slope processes affecting it. The beach is narrower, but the next beach is much more homogeneous, and there's more well-defined beach cusps. Moving along deep. Yeah, moving along the outer eastern part of Gabarus Bay. You're getting less well-developed beach deposits because there's several large rock shoals offshore. But still deposits are more intermittent. And here you've got more rock outcrop. Time is 17:30. There's a nice pocket beach with some well-developed cusps. Mostly gravel, but some sand. There's a lot less access from here on along the shore towards Lewisburg. There's just no roads, a few cottages as you can see, and a few logging roads, but there's very little access. Beach development is very poor. There's only small pocket beaches. This one in particular is maybe a few hundred meters long, about 12 meters wide in the intertidal. We're flying a low tide right now. The tide is 1740, around 1730 now. So I think most of the gravel beaches are quite steep. I reckon probably 10 to 12 degrees anyway. Just picking up bedrock shore, small pocket beaches. Shore you're seeing now is bedrock outcrop. Depending on how the bedrock weathers, you get some pockets of sediment up above it. The waves basically are funneled between the bedrock and up onto the upper shore where they're eroding the thin deposits of glacial material. Only intermittent gravel beaches right now. There you've got one of these gravel beaches, well-developed cusp again. Some dune grass, and there's a very small outlet from a lake there. So I think we've entered the Kennington Cove area. We're just coming up to Kennington Cove. We're in Deep Cove area, which is part of the Fortress of Lewisburg National Park. Along this shore, you're getting a little bit higher relief bedrock here. by Kennington Rocks. 1735. Going into Kennington Cove. Here we have a swimming beach that you can get at to from Lewisburg Park. They have problems with riptide sometimes here. You can see a well-developed picnic area. Very nice sand beach with a bit of lagoon behind.